Welcome to the Power Couples Toolbox, hosted by Nathan and Lacey Bird. Seeing the high rate of divorce and the different ways relationships are under attack today, the Toolbox has created a network where relevant information can be accessed, communities can be formed, and transformation can take place.
It is our goal to supply you with valuable tools and resources to help you and your relationship thrive and to connect you with other power couples around the world.
The Power Couple Toolbox is your marriage resource center, so join us for this next episode. Do you ever build up resentment towards your spouse for not being where you want in life? Well, today we're going to cover that topic. My name is Nathan Bird, and this is my lovely wife, Lacey.
Hey, so today we're covering codependency and the different types of relational dynamics. So there are 3 different relational dynamics if we look at them in the form of capital A, capital H, and capital M. So a capital A relationship is a very codependent relationship where if one leg or if one partner is going through a tough time or falls or something happens, the other person has also crumbled. They're not able to stand up at all on their own. A capital H relationship is a very independent relationship, and this one is also unhealthy. This is where both partners, and this is where we were for a while before we were separated, both partners are in their own lane, they're running on opposite ends of the train tracks, and when one partner falls or when one leg falls, the other one doesn't even notice. So they're not able to be there for each other in that sense. And then a capital M relationship. This is a healthy relationship. This is where both are leaning on each other a little bit, but if one falls, the other one is still able to stand up. They're affected, but they're not going to crumble, and they're able to help support that partner from a place of strength because they're still taking care of themselves.
We've experienced quite a few times in our relationship this specific topic, and I'd be curious where in our relationship you've seen that, and if you can explain to some of the people out there what we've gone through.
You know, I think especially with both of us being business owners and entrepreneurs and everything that comes along with that, that's probably one of the biggest areas is, for example, when last year he went through a really tough time with his business and there was a hostile takeover, and it was, you know, there was a big change overnight in his mental state and everything, and immediately my reaction was just to jump over and help him and then completely neglect myself and my own needs and my own goals. And you don't do it, you do it out of a good heart, and you're not doing it from a bad place. But what happens when you jump in to try and fix somebody else's problems or take care of them or whatever, you're then neglecting yourself, and you start to notice it after a couple days, weeks, months, because it's a slippery slope, right? Where you stop taking care of yourself and your own goals and your own needs, and then there's nobody taking care of the relationship either. So now everybody's over here taking care of Nate's problems, and there's not anything to go back to. So an example of this is if you can picture 3 hula hoops. So these 3 hula hoops are overlapping a little bit in like a triangle. And one of these hula hoops is Nate. Nate has a hula hoop, Lacey has a hula hoop, and the relationship has a hula hoop. So a healthy relational dynamic looks like Lacey having 1 foot in her hula hoop and 1 foot in the relationship hula hoop, and Nate having 1 foot in his hula hoop and 1 foot in the relationship hula hoop. And what that translates to in real life is Lacey making sure that all of my needs are met. I'm taking care of my health. I'm journaling at night. I'm making sure that I'm working towards my goals and I'm accomplishing the things that I want to do because I am a different person. We spend a lot of time together. We do a lot of things together, but I have my own goals and I have my own life as well here on earth. And so does he. And so the problem with that is what happens is people will jump all into their own hula hoop and only focus on their goals and needs, and they're not investing any effort into the relationship. And so having a good balance where I'm taking care of my goals and needs and I'm showing up as the best version of myself into the relationship, but then I'm actively working on building the relationship as well. So how can we better communicate? How can I create a safe, comfortable place for him to be able to communicate what's going on? I'm not responsible to fix all of his problems and issues, but I can better be in a place to support him and help him if I'm taking care of me first.
I believe it's important to understand your personal selfish desires and your selfish nature in circumstances where this arises, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to quickly go into maybe self-preservation mode, and then you may even go a little bit above and beyond, making sure that you're taking care of more than what you're doing in the relationship. So it could sway way too far forward, and that's another topic that we'll probably have to cover in a different
Well,
section.
well,
But
and I've
yeah.
seen that so much with working with women in different relationships is there's two extremes that people kind of go to in this of they'll, spend years of their relationship like having kids and homeschooling or whatever that looks like and putting all of their needs and even their own self-care on the back burner. And then what happens is 15, 20 years into it, they're like, what happened? My life is halfway over now, and or whatever, and I don't even know who I am anymore. So then they go to the other end of the extreme where now it's that resentment that builds up. They look at their partner as the reason why they're not where they want to be because their voice and their goals and everything that they have taken the back seat and they've been focusing on their kids, their relation, their husband, their whatever, right? Their career. They've been focusing on everything else. They're on the back burner. So that always comes to a head where then there's a sense of resentment towards the people right in front of them. And that's the other extreme that I've seen is them feeling like ready to walk out of their relationship. I've seen this so much, them ready to walk out of their relationship because they are ready to go and build their goals and build their dreams and make changes in their life. But the reality is, those can happen simultaneously in a healthy relationship. Being able to, I can be a strong, independent, confident woman. I can feel good in my skin. I can be running a business. I can be going to school and chasing my goals and doing my dreams, but I can still have a quality relationship with my husband and enroll him in those goals.
Yeah, enrollment is very important here, and also the respect of that other person when they enroll you in their visions. You want to be a supporting cast. This isn't something where you want to look at your spouse and, like she was saying, hold resentment and then really start belittling them for trying to accomplish certain goals that they've set out. It's more of like, right now she's going to school for behavioral psychology to be a doctor in that realm, and I'm like, well, go for it. I support you wholeheartedly. I want to work so hard for us, and the things that we're doing. And I know you want to work hard as well. And you're also a great supporter of things and goals that I have. And it's really just like I said, understanding your selfish desires, understanding the resentment that can build up, and then expressing the goals and the needs for that other person to be a supporting cast for what you're trying to accomplish.
Right, and that can be really hard sometimes too. And this is another thing that we hear about a lot. I mean, especially in the entrepreneurial community of people starting businesses and going against the grain and making changes is if you've ever heard the analogy of the crabs in the bucket, what happens when you have crabs in a bucket, you don't even have to put the lid on because when one crab starts to climb out, the other ones will pull it back down. And sometimes that's how it can feel in your relationship and your family, around your friends, where you are desiring change and growth, but the people around you, they are, because of fear of disconnect, because of fear of seeing that there's distance being created, instead of being able to empower that person, that's where enrolling them in the vision comes in, because then that supporting role, like he said, is so important because it is a difficult thing to really lift somebody else up in their strength and have those two different roles.
It's important to know that your spouse can be your supporting cast. Your spouse can help you get to where you want to go, but not have this unequal balance. I've seen this so many times for bachelors and friends of mine that all they want to do is be successful and create. And there's a lot of things that's an imbalance there, because you can do that with your spouse.
Right.
It's just a matter of balance. It's a matter of actually proclaiming to them and communicating to them your goals. And then also it takes the other person to respect that person's goals that they've just outlined.
And not just that, but throughout the process, being able to allow him to show up differently. When he tells me that he has goals and changes that he wants to make, it can be easy to continuously see him through the eyes of the past experiences. But when I allow him to show up and be a different version or be a better version or grow from his mistakes rather than continuously bringing them up, then it allows actual change to happen. And sometimes we can find all the little negatives, and when he has a goal, then I can like nitpick it and look at like, well, if you really want to get that goal, you got to do it like this and this. But that goes back to he's going to do things differently. He's on his own journey. He's going through his own growth in life. And even though I might think that I'm watching a train wreck, it's not my place to stop and divert.
Mm-hmm.
I can give him feedback and I can give him thoughts, but I have to let him go through his own process.
Words of affirmation are extremely important here, and we just listened to a podcast the other day about building up your spouse with words of affirmation, and just continual growth for what they can be and not what they're lacking.
Right.
And that's so important.
Right. Yep.
So anyway, guys, well, if you like today's podcast and also YouTube or video, feel free to go and subscribe on YouTube, and also check out powercoupletoolbox.com. Thanks for listening today.